to have a long career. That's the goal, to be in the league for 20 years. I tell you, that's the goal.
Artis Gilmore told me one time, he played for Chicago, he said, if you expect to play a long time in this league, you better quit mopping up the floor. And I thought, well, he's crazy, because that's what basketball is all about.
Bird takes it away from Wilkins, goes to the floor and gets it up ahead.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Larry Bird doesn't talk much these days. The man who built his Hall of Fame career on backing up every word with action has watched the modern NBA debates from the sidelines, staying quiet while players argue about who's the greatest. But according to sources close to the Celtics legend, something Kevin Durant said on LeBron James's podcast finally pushed Bird too far. And what he's reportedly saying behind closed doors is something every basketball fan needs to hear.
Yeah, I'm 10, 12 years in, I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships. Like, but do I still want to do this shit? You know what I'm saying?
You know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back. Or some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight.
Coward.
The controversy started on LeBron's Mind the Game podcast. Durant was sitting across from LeBron, and they were talking about careers, longevity, and what it takes to be great in the NBA. Then Durant made a comment that seemed harmless on the surface, but carried a darker meaning underneath. He brought up Michael Jordan's retirement in 1993, smirking as he said it. Some people say, I want to go play baseball, Durant said with this knowing look on his face. And LeBron, he started laughing immediately. The camera caught the whole thing. They both knew exactly what they were doing. They were making it sound like Jordan quit on basketball, like he got bored and decided to try something easier.
You know, my father just passed. We just finished our 3rd championship season where, we had a lot of different personalities, going against each other. And
individual goal was that Magic, Bird, Isaiah never did this. So that meant a lot to me to do it for the 3rd time, yes. I won't say that I'm better than those people.
Meanwhile, LeBron's been playing for over 20 years, so the implication was clear. Longevity equals toughness. Sticking around means you're more dedicated than someone who stepped away. But here's what makes this so disrespectful and why Larry Bird reportedly couldn't stay silent anymore. That comment completely ignores the reality of what happened in 1993. Jordan didn't wake up one random morning and decide basketball wasn't fun anymore. That summer, his father was murdered. James Jordan, the man who pushed Michael to become the greatest player in basketball history, was killed during a robbery. Gone, just like that. And Michael Jordan, who had just won his 3rd straight championship and was at the absolute peak of his powers, walked away from the game to deal with his grief and honor his father's memory by pursuing a dream they'd talked about together, playing professional baseball. So when Durant casually throws out that line about some people play baseball with that smirk, he's not just making a joke. He's reducing one of the most painful moments in Jordan's life to a punchline. He's taking a tragedy and using it to make Jordan look weak compared to players who've stuck around longer. And LeBron sitting right there laughing along, co-signed the whole thing. That's what crossed the line for Larry Bird, because Bird knows something about pain. He played the final years of his career with back problems so severe that he had to lie flat on the floor before games just to get his body ready to compete. He understands playing through grief, through injury, through adversity. And he understands that what Jordan did in 1993 wasn't quitting, it was being human.
I competed hard. I played the game the way it was supposed to be played. I played injured, and I played with a lot of pride. So I owe everything to the NBA.
Michael Jordan, the Magic Johnsons, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley's, we earned what we got. When the corporate America came to us, we had a game that could validate their admiration and
sponsorship and all that, yeah.
Now they get that before they play one game.
Yeah.
So you're rolling the dice to see if this kid's ever going to be good or not.
Yeah.
So in essence, you're paying the kid off of potential.
Yeah.
That he may be great.
You don't think that's good?
No, because I think it sets bad work ethic. When you get something so easily, you're not going to work as hard.
Let's talk about when Jordan actually retired that first time. Was it after losing in the first round, after getting embarrassed in the finals? No. Jordan walked away after completing a 3 straight championships, something Magic Johnson never accomplished, something Larry Bird never accomplished, something Isaiah Thomas never accomplished. Jordan reached the mountaintop of basketball, stood there alone, and then stepped away while dealing with the worst moment of his personal life. That's not quitting. That's being mentally and emotionally exhausted from carrying the weight of being the greatest while going through unimaginable pain. Now here's where the irony gets thick enough to cut with a knife. Who's making these comments about Jordan? Kevin Durant, one of the biggest quitters in NBA history. In 2016, Durant's Thunder were up 3-1 on the Golden State Warriors Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. They choked, they lost, and what did Durant do that summer? He joined the team that beat him, not just any team, the 73-win Warriors, who already had Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. That move is still considered the most spineless decision in modern NBA history, and it didn't stop there. Durant quit on Brooklyn when things got tough, demanded a trade because he couldn't handle the pressure of building something himself. Then he went to Phoenix, and when that didn't work out perfectly, he was ready to move again. This is the guy calling Michael Jordan a quitter.
What's happened to the rivalries in today's game? Like, I mean,
they don't hate each other.
That's
they don't like. See, I hated Larry and every Celtic. I really don't like you, but you my little brother. Now I love you because you out of that green and white. That's what it was, right? You. The Celtics, Lakers hate each other, disliked each other. So it made for great TV and people tuning in. And now with, I don't know if it's AAU, I don't know what it is. Now everybody's shaking each other's hand. Everybody like each other, won't go at each other like really hard. Even that's what happened to the All-Star game, see?
Yeah.
See, the All-Star
carried into the All-Star game. Right there.
See, we hated the East.
Right.
I'm coming to bust you.
Right.
Michael, Isaiah, Dr. J. You can't have one over me. See, I'm coming to get that. Now,
see, Magic, this is what I
let
said.
them score 200 to 200. What is that?
LeBron and KD and Steve Nash did their little podcast thing, and they always drag the legacy of Michael Jordan.
What is it called? Was it Cry Me a River?
Cry Me a River. I think
Cry Me a River
called,
podcast? Yeah. Oh, my God. I tell you what, man, listen. I was watching
Revisionist history, they should call it.
Yeah, you know what, Mark? Great players don't have to tell people they're great.
Yeah.
You let fans do that. You let people debate it on talk radio and podcasts. You know, players don't have to do that. You know, we all know you're great. You don't have to tell us. You know, when you have to go around trumpeting that you're great and what separates you from all the other people that makes you greater than them, that's a problem. You know, that's a problem. That's why I say it's a Cry Me a River podcast, because you're crying and moaning about what they said. And they were kind of sneak dissing MJ. If you really listen between the lines, you know, they were talking about, Kevin Durant was talking about how longevity is more important than rings and all that other stuff. Being in the league basically for 20 plus years shows the dedication and the hard work that you had to do to stay here. But he failed to mention, you know, the load management and this guy only playing in no more than 3 times in his career, you know, 82 games in a season.
Yeah, right.
LeBron's only played 1 time 82 games in a season. MJ 9 times in his career played 82 games, plus the playoffs and championships that goes into 115 games. So to listen to these guys discredit the former players and how great they were to you know, basically step on top of them to get themselves higher is really sad.
Then there's LeBron. When things got tough in Cleveland the first time, he took his talents to South Beach to join Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. When the Heat started declining in 2014, he went back to Cleveland. Then when that situation ran its course, he headed to Los Angeles. Every single time adversity showed up, LeBron found an exit, and look, there's nothing wrong with changing teams. It's a business, but you can't spend your career hopping from super team to super team and then mock Michael Jordan for stepping away after a three-peat while grieving his father's murder. That's not just disrespectful, it's delusional. The podcast conversation didn't end with the baseball comment either. Durant kept going, talking about how the real goal for an NBA player should be playing 20 years in the league, not championships, not MVPs, not maximizing your talent and dominating every single season you play. Just longevity, just sticking around. And LeBron nodded along like this was some deep wisdom instead of what it actually is, a complete misunderstanding of what greatness means. This is where Jordan's entire philosophy destroys their argument, and where Larry Bird's reported response cuts right to the heart of the issue. Michael Jordan never chased longevity, he chased perfection. Every season had one goal: maximize himself, maximize his team, win championships, and dominate on both ends of the floor. Jordan played 15 years total, but really only 13 full seasons when you account for his retirements. And though in those 13 seasons, he won 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 regular season MVPs, 10 scoring titles, and made 9 all-defensive teams. That's not just impressive, that's as close to perfect as basketball has ever seen.
But you have to really play hard. Does that hurt you physically?
No, because when I play hard all the time. You know, there's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% at all times.
We come to practice, he's on one leg. Like he was hurt the second year, he was on one leg the whole year and played 82 games. Wow. Like, and so he practiced every day and he played every game on one leg. And so you're like, man, MJ, why don't you just sit up? How can I be the leader of the team and sit out and y'all going through all the credit? I got to be there.
I twisted my ankle, and I had a teammate, David Greenwood. He says, you twist your ankle, young fella. Come over and sit with me. This is you need to. I said, no, man. I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win. I want to make an impact.
Now look at Durant and LeBron combined. They've played 39 seasons together, nearly 3 times as long as Jordan's peak years, and what do they have to show for it? 6 championships total, 5 regular season MVPs, 6 finals MVPs, 5 scoring titles, and 5 all-defensive selections combined in almost 40 years of basketball. They've accomplished less than Jordan did in basically a decade. Twice the time, half the results. Let's talk about mentality, because that's really what separates these eras. When Jordan came into the league as a rookie in 1984, he played all 82 games. This was in an era when the game was more physical, more brutal. Teams flew commercial. They had one trainer and maybe one strength coach. Back-to-back games were constant. The schedule was punishing, and yet players still showed up. In the 1999-2000 season alone, 58 different players played all 82 games. Compare that to today. The worst years for player availability in NBA history are happening right now in the 2020s, when players have every advantage you could imagine. Private jets, entire medical staffs traveling with the team, sports science, state-of-the-art training facilities, personalized nutrition plans, and they're playing less than ever before. Why? Because the mindset changed. Jordan had a philosophy that defined his entire career. He believed that being an NBA player was a privilege, not a burden. He understood that fans worked hard for their money, saved up to buy tickets, and showed up expecting to see the best players compete. When you're making tens of millions of dollars and you sit out games because you're tired, that's a slap in the face to everyone who paid to see you play. Jordan respected that. He respected the game. He respected the fans who made his career possible.
Like you mentioned a little bit about today's game, because we had Club on here and he talked about load management. He said, I don't know what the hell that is. Where is it going? And that's number one. And number two, how do we get it back?
Even for me, I love the NBA game, but then I turn on to a game, right? And then the stars are not playing because of load management. It's hurting the game.
The fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket or to get money to buy the ticket.
You really cared about the guy who sat in the top deck at the Palace in Auburn Hills to watch you when you came to Detroit?
Yeah, because I know he's probably yelling at me and I want to shut him up. So if the guys are coming to watch me play, I don't want to miss that opportunity. Now, physically, if I can't do it, then I can't do it. But physically, if I can do it, and I just don't feel like doing it, that's a whole different lens.
There's a famous story about Jordan twisting his ankle early in his career. A teammate told him to sit down and rest. Jordan refused. He said he was trying to make a name for himself, that he needed to show what he could do, that he wanted to make an impact. That mentality never changed. Even when he was the biggest star in the world, he still showed up for this guy sitting in the cheap seats at the top of the arena. LeBron James has played a full 82-game season exactly once in his entire career. Once in over 20 years. Players like Bird, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, even Allen Iverson did it multiple times. And here's the thing that makes load management so damaging. When the best player in the league sits out, it sends a message to everyone else. If LeBron can rest, why can't everyone else? It trickles down through the entire league. Role players start resting, bench guys start sitting out. The whole NBA adopts this mentality that regular season games don't really matter unless it's the playoffs, and fans are the ones who suffer. They pay premium prices for tickets. They show up to the arena, and half the star players are in street clothes on the bench. Kevin McHale summed it up perfectly when he said Jordan's era was different because Jordan set a different standard. When Michael Jordan was the face of the NBA, players showed up, they competed, they played through injuries, because that's what you did. Jordan himself missed 64 games one season with a broken foot. Team management wanted to shut him down for the entire year. Jordan refused. He came back and played limited minutes just to be on the court, and when games came down to the final 30 seconds, he demanded to be on the floor, not because he was chasing stats or trying to pad his resume, because he couldn't stand the thought of letting his teammates or the fans down.
What do you think of when you hear the term load management thrown around?
It shouldn't be needed, first and foremost. I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. It was something that I felt like, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy.
It's all about winning championships and winning.
Today's players make $95 million and say they can't play basketball 4 days a week. They won't do back-to-back games. They need rest days built into the schedule before the season even starts. And fans are supposed to just accept this. You can't ask people to pay hundreds of dollars for tickets when the stars they came to see might not even play. It's killing the game. People tune in to watch a marquee matchup and the best players are sitting out because of load management. That never would have happened in Jordan's era. It never would have happened in Bird's era because those players understood something that seems lost today. You earn what you get. You don't coast on potential or reputation. You show up and prove it every single night. Jordan and Bird both played fewer than 15 full seasons. Why? Because they left everything on the floor every single night. Diving for loose balls, playing lockdown defense, doing whatever it took to win. They didn't pace themselves for year 20. They didn't think about longevity. They thought about that night's game and that season's championship. They played with intensity that burned bright but couldn't last forever, and that's fine. That's actually beautiful because in those shortened careers, they accomplished more than most players do in 20 years. Durant and LeBron have been playing for their own individual glory for years now. Stats, points, all-time leaderboard positions. Jordan actually said that if he cared about scoring records, he could have kept playing and chased Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but he didn't care about that. He cared about rings, he cared about winning, he cared about being the best when it mattered most. There's another dimension to this that people don't talk about enough. Jordan's generation earned their massive contracts and endorsement deals by building the game first. They made the NBA must-watch television. They created the global brand that modern players benefit from. And only after proving themselves, after winning championships and filling arenas, did the big money come. Today's players get max contracts before they have played a single NBA game. They get shoe deals worth millions based purely on potential. And while there's nothing wrong with that from a business perspective, it does change the mentality. When you get everything before you've earned it, there's less hunger, less drive to prove yourself every night. Jordan and Bird came from an era where you had to earn every dollar, every endorsement, every ounce of respect. Nothing was given. So when Durant says the goal is playing 20 years, he's exposing the fundamental difference between his generation and Jordan's. Jordan's goal was never to just stick around and collect paychecks. It was to dominate, to be undeniably the best, to leave a legacy that nobody could ever touch. And he did that in 13 full seasons. Durant and LeBron have had almost 40 combined seasons, and they're still chasing Jordan's ghost. Every debate still circles back to him. Every all-time ranking still has him at the top, and no amount of longevity will ever change that. Here's the kicker that makes Larry Bird's reported response so powerful. NBC recently brought Michael Jordan back into the NBA's media fold. Why? Because even now, over 20 years after his final retirement, Jordan has more power and influence than anyone playing today. When Jordan speaks, people listen. When Jordan says players should compete every night, should respect the game and the fans, that message resonates across generations. That's Jordan's real response to Durant and LeBron. Not words on a podcast, not a Twitter rant, not a defensive press conference. His response is his continued relevance. His response is that his name carries more weight than anyone currently in the league. According to sources, this is exactly what Larry Bird has been saying privately to friends and former teammates. Bird reportedly told people close to him that Jordan doesn't need to defend himself because his career speaks louder than anything Durant or LeBron could ever say. The numbers speak, the championships speak, the way he played speaks. Bird understands this better than almost anyone because he built his own legacy the same way. Through toughness, through showing up, through competing every single night regardless of the pain or the circumstances. And LeBron can laugh on their podcast all they want. They can dismiss the importance of championships, they can mock Jordan's baseball retirement, but at the end of the day, they're still measured against him, they're still compared to him. They're still trying to convince people they belong in the same conversation, and that's the most telling thing of all. Jordan never had to convince anyone. He just showed them. Night after night, season after season, championship after championship. Greatness doesn't need 20 years to prove itself. It just needs one moment, one game, one season to show the world what the absolute best looks like. And Jordan had 13 seasons of showing exactly that. Durant and LeBron combined, with all their longevity and all their stats, still haven't matched what Jordan accomplished in basically a decade. That's not an opinion. That's just math. That's just history. So yeah, Michael Jordan responded to Kevin Durant and LeBron James, and Larry Bird is backing him up completely. They just didn't need to say Durant and LeBron's names to do it. Their entire legacy, their mentality, their approach to basketball, that's the response. And it's louder than anything anyone could ever say on a podcast. It's louder than all the excuses about load management and longevity. It's louder than the jokes about baseball, because when the dust settles and history writes its final chapter, there's Jordan at the top. And everyone else is still looking up wondering what it must have felt like to be that great. If you think today's NBA has lost its way, smash that like button. If you believe players need to start respecting the game and the fans who make everything possible, drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. And if you want more breakdowns exposing what's really happening in basketball, hit subscribe because this conversation is far from over.